voice of reason in a world gone mad. I'm your host, Seth Holhouse. So, the whole world is rocking right now in response to Trump's tariffs. We have the EU coming out, we have countries that were posturing before and putting on a hard act that crumbled and folded overnight. They're now saying, no, look, no tariffs, we're going to play your game, Trump. We've got China, which Trump hit with huge tariffs, now retaliating, and we're seeing the real emergence of a trade war. And oftentimes trade wars have a tendency to escalate beyond just trade war, even potentially into kinetics. There's a lot of concern there. And so joining us today, though, is my very good friend Clay Clark, because I reached out to him because I wanted someone to help us understand what's happening on a geopolitical level, but not just through looking at things in a particular silo where people, say a financial guy is coming on and saying, well, here's how the tariffs are working and we're going to see the rates do this and rates do that. I wanted someone that could come on and say, look, here's how I make sense of this in the big picture. Because from my own perspective and my research, what we're experiencing right now is not just a normal kind of trade war between countries or a shifting or potential recession or, hey, the stock market's up or down 5 points today or 5 points tomorrow. I really believe that what we're experiencing is the Great Reset. Now, we're not sure who's in control of this Great Reset or who's going to be in control on the other side of it. But when I say that I believe that we're experiencing a Great Reset, what I'm saying here is that I believe that we are experiencing a massive transition, a massive shift in the world order. We're stepping out of and witnessing the collapse of an old world order. The old systems that governed our country and governed our world for a very, very long time are now coming to an end. And there's a new world order emerging. Now, I don't think it's a new world order that is being led by a particular group of globalists at the tip of the pyramid exactly as they see fit. I think that there are multiple factions fighting for control of this new world order. And the thing is that even the term new world order is no longer a conspiracy anymore. You can go back to clips of our own presidents, Bush, et cetera, talking about a new world order. The reality is that there is an order that governs how the world works. There is an old one that I think that is collapsing, and there is a new one emerging. So this isn't some weird conspiracy. But what I appreciate about Clay Clark is that he has a way of looking at world events and framing it through the biblical perspective, through the economical perspective, through, you might say, the conspiratorial perspective. But he also is very clear on the threats that our nation faces. One of those greatest threats being technocracy or some sort of robotic technocratic system that we would be living under. And if you look at Elon Musk and you look at his control over or control by Trump, it's hard to understand what exactly is that relationship. A lot of people have been blinded by their love and appreciation for Elon Musk. And look what he's doing with Doge, and this is great, and he's got free speech on Twitter. And look, I'll be the first to say that those are all excellent things that we're seeing happening. I love the fact that I can go on the Twitter right now and talk about anything, whether it's election fraud or the jabs or whatever it is, and not have my account canceled. That's great. However, the road to hell is paved in good intentions. And so we have to be vigilant in looking at who are these people, what are they doing, what is their end goal. Because if you look at the art of war, go back to Sun Tzu, one of the greatest military generals and strategists, it's oftentimes a surprise: when you're weak, act strong; when you're strong, act weak. And I think that right now, a lot of people that are driving the populist movement here in America, I believe, have been a little bit blinded, and they've been a little bit caught up in perhaps idol worship. And they've been saying, oh, we're winning now. The Democrats are losing. We're winning. It's a dangerous place to be. So we need to be very, very cautious. And so I just finished this interview with Clay. I'm recording this introduction after the interview. And I have to tell you, this interview with him is about 30 minutes. It was one of the most mind-bending interviews that I've done. And it's not easy to bend my mind. I'm a person that regularly tries to bend my mind on my own through researching and listening and reading. But what Clay brings to the table here had me probably 10 times over saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. Oh my goodness, yes, you're right." Now, what he presents, as you'll see, is a frightening scenario. I'll be the first to say this is a show that might make you think, "Oh my goodness, everything I thought is kind of wrong." But I believe it's that my job and it's my mission to try my best to bring you the truth. And again, that's what I appreciate about Clay is that he's not one to mince words. He's not one to gloss over certain things because he wants to appease people. He is a hard hitter with the truth. He doesn't care if he offends people. And so I hope that you, I'm not gonna say enjoy this episode, but I hope that this episode is something that impacts you and that you learn something from it. And perhaps you change your actions because of it. And perhaps you shift your focus maybe more towards your family and your immediate community and less towards watching what's happening on Fox News and what Elon said today and what's happening with Doge. Because I can tell you that we have to focus on our own homes right now, on our own communities, because I don't think that we're in the clear. I don't think we can just put our feet up and say, "Hey, look, the billionaire class, Zuckerberg and Larry Ellison and Trump and Elon, they're all of a sudden they're taking care of we the people. There's no worry." Unfortunately, I don't think that it's where we're at. And I will also encourage you that if you enjoy the show, to like it, to share it, especially give it a like. Even if you're watching right now, and especially if you're on Rumble, hit that thumbs up button. Because if we hit more likes, we get to reach more people. That's how these algorithms work. Also, reminder that every show that I do is done as a podcast as well as a video show. So if you're used to listening to your shows on podcasts, whether it's an Apple Podcast or Spotify or Podbean, you'll find me there. Just search for Man in America, hit subscribe. And if you're feeling really excited, leave me a review on there. I always appreciate those. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the interview with Clay Clark. Clay Clark, welcome to the show. It's good to have you back on, man.
Brother, I'm fired up to be here with you. Again, I appreciate the opportunity. I want everyone to know this. I first heard of you because President Trump shared your video, this Man in America video. And like so many Americans, I found you, watched your show, watched your channel. And as I was doing that Reawaken tour with Eric Trump and General Flynn, I showed your video to many of the speakers, those guys included. And it was unanimous that we needed to get you on the tour. So I am so glad we met. And I encourage everybody, if they haven't seen that video, they really should check it out.
Well, thank you for the kind words, Clay. And gosh, how much has changed in the past 4 years, or 4.5 years since that came out? I mean, it's a wild ride. And so, what I want to dive into right now is what's happening with tariffs, stock market, China, the United States. Because why I appreciate speaking with you, because you don't look at anything in a silo. You're looking at how does de-dollarization and BRICS and transhumanism and the COVID agenda come together with the collapsing of the old world order and the new world order. And so you have a way of bringing everything together. So I'd love to hear, how are you making sense of what's happening right now?
I'm very, very clear about what's happening, and I'm going to give everybody out there Bible verses to look up. Now, this is something that's going to blow the minds for somebody. I was talking to a famous pastor last night, and I'm going to be very vague about who it was, but this is a top 10 guy, one of the world's best-selling authors. We'll go that far, okay? So this is one of the best-selling authors in the world, and I'm sitting down with him. I mean, we're talking less than 24 hours ago, and he did not know the information I'm going to go over with you, okay? So I want everyone to open up your Bible to Revelation chapter 18, verse 22 through 23. I'm going to read this to you, and I promise I'm not dodging your questions. Let me pull it up here to my right. I'm not playing Tetris. I'm reading this from the Bible. It says here, "And the voice of the harpers and musicians, and of the pipers, and of the trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft may be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee." Just so we don't get lost in the language. We're talking about a time where people aren't going to be working anymore. There are no more jobs. There are no more musicians. There are no more home remodelers. There's nobody remodeling your kitchen, okay? We continue. It says, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, and for by thy sorceries, by the way, pharmakia means sorcery, sorcery means pharmakia, were all nations deceived.
Hey, real quick, if you drink coffee and you care about supporting a small business, you've got to check out Blackout Coffee. This isn't your average weak sauce corporate coffee. Blackout Coffee is roasted right here in the good old US of A by people who stand for faith, freedom, and hard work. They support our troops, the Second Amendment, and everything that makes this country great. They've got everything from whole beans and ground coffee to convenient pods and even instant coffee. Two standouts. So the Morning Reaper, a smooth and bold medium roast that's perfect to start your day. And if you like it strong, go for Brutal Awakening. Their darkest roast, it's loaded with caffeine. And here's the deal. You can get 20% off your first order. Just head to blackoutcoffee.com/maninamerica and use the code MANINAmerica at checkout. That's blackoutcoffee.com/maninamerica. The link's in the description. Ditch the woke coffee brands and fuel up with something real. Blackout Coffee. Wake up with purpose.
So I want people to listen to this. Now, I want people to really understand the context, okay? So Lutnick is our U.S., this is the Commerce Secretary, Lutnick, okay? Howard Lutnick. I don't have an axe to grind with Howard Lutnick. I haven't in any way manipulated this audio. Howard Lutnick was asked by Jesse Waters on March 19th. The question you just asked me, Jesse Waters was asking him the same question. I want you to hear what Howard Lutnick has to say. Okay, this is mind-boggling. Here we go.
Elon Musk is probably the best person to bet on I've ever met. And I think we all know that. I mean, gosh, in the same week that he saves astronauts with his rockets that he invented, imagine that. He's building the coolest robots you've ever seen. Go online and look up Optimus. It is the coolest thing you've ever seen.
Pause. So he said, go online, look up Optimus. Go online, look up Optimus. It's the coolest thing you've ever seen. That's what he just said to do, folks. He said, go online, look up Optimus. Here we go.
We're all going to be buying robots. They're going to cost about $30,000. You're going to be buying a Tesla robot, and anybody who doesn't buy a Tesla robot is going to be silly. No one's going to be keying anything.
I got to stop you. You're saying we're going to have $30,000 robots soon that I can buy and boss around and get them to do chores? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
When?
Go online and look up Optimus.
When do I get a robot?
I think he says at the end of 26, he's going to start making tons of robots, 27 and 28. He thinks 2028, you and I are each going to have 5 robots each.
5
They're
each?
going to mow our lawn, and they're going to make us coffee, and they're going to make our bed, and then we're going to figure out that because they're online, they're going to fix our bathroom and renovate our bathroom. I'm telling you, we're both going to have really nice bathrooms.
What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice. There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better.
Okay, so a lot there, Seth. But Elon Musk is talking about replacing workers with robots. Bill Gates is now talking during interviews of Seth. I'm sure you've seen them or maybe you've even covered them. Bill Gates is now talking about replacing most human workers with robots. So what am I saying? What's going on here? What's going to happen is manufacturing is going to come back to these United States. That is not a prophecy, nor is it a guess. That is not speculation. It is going to happen. Manufacturing will come back to the United States. So the verb, the action of manufacturing will come back to these United States. But the actions, the verb of manufacturing will be done by humanoid robots. And that's not me saying that. That's Howard Lutnick saying that. So, folks, the era of universal basic income and the era of humanoid robots doing most jobs is upon us.
So this is interesting, and this is why I enjoy talking to you, because you don't look at anything, again, in a silo. Lutnick praising Elon Musk, Trump being so close to Elon Musk, some questioning who's actually in charge between those two. Elon Musk, obviously a transhumanist, obviously someone who's putting chips in brains, building robots, sharing pictures on X of futuristic cities that look like something out of Blade Runner, which is frightening for a million reasons to me. But we know that, and Trump has talked about, and anyone can really make sense of the fact that to have a golden age here back in America we have to turn America back into a manufacturing hub. We have to turn America back into an exporter instead of an importer. And that's how we have to decouple from China to achieve that, which is what's happening. However, a lot of critics, rightfully so, and intelligent people have said there's no way that overnight America can turn it back into what it was in the 60s. The factories are dead. The people with the skills that used to run those factories are dead. The younger generations that would be your factory workers, a lot of them are hooked on fentanyl, hooked on social media. Their trade schools have, in the past probably 10, 20 years, have probably plummeted in attendance. And so if you put all these pieces together, now what Lutnick is saying makes sense. What Elon is doing, his role makes sense. The $500 billion data center, right? It was $500 billion. It was like what, $500 billion data center, right? Stargate, which would be used to probably run massive AI systems and robotics. It makes sense that the golden age of America is a golden robot age, and that this is the only way. Again, from their perspective, is to have robots everywhere, have a transhumanist technocratic society, have some sort of universal basic income, and saying, well, look, America's now a manufacturing powerhouse and we're great, but sorry that we're only hiring 10% of the workforce because we've got robotics. So we're making all this money though. So here, no income tax. Here's a universal basic income. Here's a VR headset from the Zuckerberg developed. Here's your Amazon instant drone delivery of your Slurpee. I mean, is that what you're seeing here?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna play this audio. Got a lot of audio clips here. And when you hear this, folks, I'm not playing Tetris over here. What I'm thinking of is I always think of what I'm saying to you could not possibly be a better resource than Elon Musk saying it directly. So July 22nd, 2024, Elon Musk is sitting down with Jordan Peterson for an interview. Listen to this, folks.
We got the XAI data center or supercomputer center training from beginning installation to start of training in 19 days, which is the fastest that anyone has ever gotten a supercomputer to train.
And is that in that new building
So
off
he just built this supercomputer and got it working. He said, what, in 19 days? Let's continue.
the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis,
Okay.
the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny.
Wait,
Yeah, okay, so I
hold on one
want to talk to
second,
you
Clay.
about
Did he say
Yeah.
perhaps that's where a new Bible will come from?
He said, perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Oh,
Let me back
gosh,
it up.
even worse. So he said
we
perhaps
go.
that's
Yeah, listen to this, folks. Here we go.
Beginning installation to start of training in 19 days, which is the fastest that anyone has ever gotten a supercomputer to train.
And is that in that new building off to the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's where you were?
Yeah.
I see.
Memphis,
Okay.
the capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about alignment.
I wish that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
look,
so
I mean, wow.
so he's building this massive data center for XAI.
Yep.
In this huge in Memphis, which he's likening to ancient Egypt, which I've got all kinds of problems with ancient Egypt. There's a lot of really, really evil, wicked stuff going on in ancient Egypt. Like, why do we have obelisks in DC? Why it's, that's a whole different side topic. But as he's talking about building this AI data center, he says, perhaps that's where our new God will come from. And then he laughs in a maniacal way that I can't say I've heard him laugh like that before.
And now he keeps referring to Kek, by the way, K-E-K. So he keeps talking about Kek. So if you go to X and you look up Elon Musk, the word Kek, Kek is an Egyptian concept where you upgrade an evil spirit to the level of a god. So I don't know how many times you need that verb in your life, but you're talking about upgrading an evil spirit to the point of God. And Kek, the physical shape of Kek or the logo of Kek is a frog head. All right. So there you go. And so he's posting consistently about Keck. So just yesterday, or whenever we recorded this, so whatever day you hear this or see this, whatever day it comes out, he put out a post here. And this would be yesterday. So it'd be in March or it could be April 9th, whenever the show comes out, but April 9th. And he puts it out here, April 9th. And it's a picture of a Keck, of a frogman, wearing the Roman outfit. And he keeps saying America's the new Rome. Now, let me continue. Elon Musk is talking
Clay,
about
here you
America
go.
being the new Rome.
Kuk, or Kek, spelled K-E-K,
Yes.
is the ancient Egyptian deity of night and darkness. As a concept, Kek was viewed as having male and female qualities. His female form was known as Kakhet, also spelled as Keket, which is simply the female form of the word Kek. It's a frog-headed man. Kek is a frog. He is also symbolized as the unknown and chaos. It says that Kuk or Kek was the god of the hours before dawn and was known as the bringer in of the light. Almost sounds like Lucifer, right? The bringer of light, Lucifer, as he guided sun barge of the god Ra toward the sky from the underworld. Doesn't sound like a guy.
I'm just
sorry. Back to you, Clay.
I'm just saying this, Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14. And I mean this. I'm sitting there last night with one of the biggest, if I mention the guy's name, every single person watching this show would go, oh, I know who that is. And this person is so siloed, God bless him, into the tariffs. The tariffs. Are they good? Are they bad? He's not looking at the Bible. And we went over it last night, and it was like he saw a ghost. I mean, he's going, what now? Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14. I was telling this person, I said, hey, look, the Bible tells us in Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14, it says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs, Kek, come out of the mouth of the dragon, China, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Modern translation goes like this. The Bible tells us when the Euphrates River dries up, and it is, China and Russia will team up, and they are. That's BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They're teaming up financially and militarily. So the Bible says when the Euphrates River dries up, and it is, China and Russia will team up. Okay, the nations will gather against Israel. Things will start to blow up. It says the beast technology will show up, and it says that the false prophet will show up. Now, many people refer to Yuval Noah Harari as the prophet. This is the man who is the lead advisor for the World Economic Forum, Yuval Noah Harari. His name in Hebrew, by the way, Yuval means father of music. Noah means as in the days of Noah. Harari means shall ascend to the mountaintop. Think about that. The father of music, as in the days of Noah, shall ascend to the mountaintop. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 24, verse 37, it'll be like as in the days of Noah, before the return of Christ. What was it like in the days of Noah? There was perpetual violence and wickedness. There was fallen angels mating with humans, corrupting the seed of man. And now you have this conversation from Colossus. You have this conversation from Elon Musk. They're talking about resurrecting, bringing back, resurrecting extinct animals, unextincting animals. You're having Elon Musk saying you can download your brain into another body and live forever. He says you can, I'm quoting here, Elon Musk says you can save state like in a video game. You can download your brain, your consciousness into a different body. So Elon Musk is a big fan of mRNA. How do we know this? He retrofitted Tesla to make the mRNA vaccines for a company called CureVac. Don't believe me? Look that up, folks. So there's 5 core components of the Great Reset. 1 is put a chip in your head. That's Elon Musk. 2, there is self-driving cars that drive you where they want to take you, Elon Musk. 3, there's programmable money and the AI taking all the jobs. That's Elon Musk. Then you have this idea of humanoid robots. What? 30,000 low orbit satellites that blanket the Earth, Seth, that cover the Earth so that you're constantly on the grid. That's Elon Musk. This idea, Elon Musk is very much the transhumanism. This is all there are things connected to Elon Musk. So what I would say, and my homework for everybody watching today's show, I got 3 big calls to action. I love to give calls to action. 1, read Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14, and tell me that I'm out of my mind. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you disagree. Read it yourself. Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14. Read Revelation chapter 18, verse 22 through 23. Tell me I'm out of my mind. Tell me that replacing Elon Musk has said that the number of humanoid robots will vastly exceed the number of real humans. And he now refers to a group of Optimus robots. He now refers to the plural form of Optimus robots as Legion. He calls them Legion. That is the language he uses to describe the plural form. So you might have like a flock of birds. Elon Musk is now referring to a flock. So listen to this audio of Elon Musk. He now describes the Tesla humanoid robots,
look at this
the
real
Optimus
quick,
robots
Clay.
as a Legion.
I am Legion is a phrase famously used by a demon-possessed man in the Bible, specifically in the Gospel of Mark, where he states, "My name is Legion, for we are many." It says in Mark 5:9,
Right.
Jesus asked a demon-possessed man, "What is your name?" The man who is possessed by multiple demons replies, "My name is Legion, for we are many."
Right. Listen to this, folks. This is Elon Musk. Here we go. By the way, this is March 20th. Seth, every time I share this information, people always say three things. They go, when did that clip come out? Is that old? Second is they go, would you rather have Kamala? Third, as they say, is, are you praying for him? So yes, I am praying for him. No, I don't want Kamala. And yes, this is a very current video. This is March 20th, 2025. Here's Elon Musk.
So this year, we hopefully will be able to make about 5,000 Optimus robots. We're technically, we're aiming for enough parts to make 10,000, maybe 12,000. But since it's a totally new product with totally new, everything is totally new. I'll say like we're succeeding if we get to half the 10,000 now. But even 5,000 robots, that's the size of a Roman legion, FYI, which is like a little scary thought, like a whole legion of robots. I'd be like, whoa, yeah. But I think we'll literally build a legion, at least one legion of robots this year, and then probably 10 legions next year. And I don't know, it's kind of a cool unit, units of legion. So probably 50,000-ish next year, and then it's probably ready I'm hopefully ready for Optimus to be used outside of Tesla controlled environment, or maybe around the middle of next year, second half of next year sometime. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
That clip came from October 24th of 2014. So Elon Musk describes AI. Again, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Sam Altman are the founders of OpenAI, okay? And Sam Altman says that OpenAI will cause a great reset in the introduction of universal basic income. That's Sam Altman. Bill Gates is saying that Bill Gates has said, he continues to say that OpenAI solves the Tower of Babel problem. Bill Gates continues to say that OpenAI has solved his Tower of Babel problem. Don't believe me, folks. Look it up. And Elon Musk is now saying that AI is summoning the demon, and he refers to the plural form of his humanoid Optimus robots as Legion. I'm telling you, Seth, if you talk about the things that are happening, the Bible, 27% of the Bible is prophetic. 27% of the Bible is prophetic. 73% of the Bible is historical. I would encourage everybody, call to action number one, read the Bible, specifically Revelation chapter 16, verse 12 through 14, Revelation chapter 18, verse 22 through 23. Second, you got to Nehemiah.
I'm going to jump in real quick. I want to
Yeah.
add, here it is. This was a podcast that Bill Gates went on. Let's see if I have a date here. This is last year. So June 2024. Bill Gates says superhuman AI may be closer than you think. And let's go ahead and check out right here. Okay. And here's a quote of him talking. He says, quote, "Oh my God, if you ever had a company that could do that, it would collect tens of billions in revenue and solve the Tower of Babel." There you go.
Yeah, he says, it's very disturbing. It's
Take human translation.
Bill Gates.
The idea that a free product provides arbitrary audio and text human translation. That was a holy grail of, oh my God, if you ever had a company that could do that, it would collect, tens of billions in revenue and, solve the Tower of Babel. And here,
I mean, this is what they do. I mean, and Yuval Noah Harari now, whenever he speaks, he often will put a Tower of Babel behind him in the background on the slide behind him in the background on an LED screen. He does this often. So I'm saying this because I want to give people calls to action. And the first thing we have to know is Luke chapter 21. I want everyone to read it tonight. Luke chapter 21. Jesus tells us that when you see these signs, okay, we're supposed to look up because our redemption draws near. Like he says, be watching. Jesus tells us to be watching, to watch for these signs. Jesus tells us, my thesis is we should probably listen to Jesus. So Jesus tells us to watch for these things. It's very important. Second thing, and I didn't talk to you about this offline, but I mean this sincerely. You got to subscribe to your channel, Seth, and share this show with an urgency. I mean it. These things are coming together just like the Bible said it would. And people need to know this because I'm sitting with a top 10 pastor last night, one of the top pastors in the world. Every single listener would know this person's name. And out of respect for this person in that conversation, I won't mention the details. But this person had no idea about anything we just discussed. And where their brain's at, Seth, is they're getting caught up in that Hegelian dialectic where there's a new problem. Like, oh, man, the tariffs, are they too high? Are they too low? And he's so entrenched in the debate of high tariffs, low tariffs, should we have tariffs, that he's not taking a chance to step out of it and look at how everything connects. And when we were talking last night, he's going, wow. And it wasn't a pushback. It wasn't an argument. It wasn't, I'm not grandstanding. He's just going, can you send that clip to me? Could you send that to me? I mean, because he knows the Bible and he hadn't heard this stuff. And so everybody needs to share this show. And then finally, I would just say, we have kind of that Nehemiah phase of our lives right now. Nehemiah was commanded by God to rebuild a wall while he was simultaneously being attacked. He was commanded to build a wall while simultaneously being attacked. So what am I saying? We've got to provide for our families while we're also heavenly minded and thinking about working out our salvation. So I think everybody out there needs to get very practical and very tactical during these times. And so you have great resources at your Man in America website and platform. You've got great gold and silver sponsors. I would recommend you own that stuff before hyperinflation becomes the norm. I mean, for people who've been listening to your show, they start buying gold at $1,000 an ounce, and now it's at $3,000 an ounce. I'd recommend people look at the resources you have. And then also, I do these business workshops. And what I'm finding, Seth, is more and more entrepreneurs who don't want to take the vaccines. They don't want to get told what to do in the workplace. They don't want to follow the woke agenda. Maybe they just got laid off from the federal government. They're looking for solutions. And that's why I host those business conferences that I've done every couple months now. This is Seth. I've been doing it now for 20 years. It seems crazy. 20 years I've been doing business workshops, and we bring in folks like Tim Tebow, like Eric Trump. The next one's June 5th and 6th. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see Tim Tebow come and joins us. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, June 5th and 6th. We got Eric Trump, Alina Habba, that whole Team America. They'll be joining us here at the conference in September. And you say, well, Clay, do you share your insight with these speakers? Do you share? Absolutely. I do. I do. I share this information with people, but I just encourage everybody, be an action-oriented person. Action, action, action. Don't just be a hearer, be a doer. Book of James, be a doer, not just a hearer. And if you use promo code Man in America, or if you mention Man in America when you request a ticket, we do enter you in for a chance to win a backstage pass. And because we only have 300 attendees at these events, you've been to them before, you really do have a good opportunity to actually have a chance to win a backstage pass, meet some of the speakers. It's a lot of fun. So again, calls to action. 1, read all the Bible verses I referenced there for everybody out there. 2, share this show. Share the show in the air with a great sense of urgency, like you're a new member of a new multi-level program, like you just started selling life insurance. Huck that thing. Like you just became a realtor. Go for it. And then the third is come join us at one of our in-person workshops or schedule a consultation with your precious metals dealer of choice, because I'm telling you, Revelation chapter 6 prophesied hyperinflation. We don't have time to get into it, but I'm telling you, this universal basic income and this changing of the economic system will usher in some level of hyperinflation, as the Bible said it would in Revelation chapter 6, verse 6.
Clay, I had no idea where this conversation would go, and I'm awestruck. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for doing this. I'll make sure we put a link to your conference in the description. I was there, the most recent one, and I got to hang out with Eric Trump, got to meet Robert Kiyosaki, learned a bunch of stuff. It was great. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it to the June one, but I'll definitely be coming out to the September one. And yeah, wow, thank you. This is important information. And I agree with you. I mean, look, not every show would I say, hey, everyone must share the show. It's like, okay, if you enjoyed it, but the way that you framed what's happening today, especially for someone that believes in God, it couldn't be more important of a message right now, because there are so many flashing lights and things to get focused on and caught up on, and while we're missing the core point. And what I see that you brought today is the core point to what's going on. This is biblical, what's happening. So, Clay, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I can't wait. Look forward to next time.
Man in America, Seth Holhouse, thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, so if you're still with me and you watched that entire interview, if I was next to you, I'd give you a high five, or maybe I'd give you a hug and a pat on the back. It's some difficult information to process. However, maybe you're like me after finishing this interview and thinking, gosh, this is such an important message. I need to get this out to more people. If that's so, I would appreciate if you can share this show. I appreciate if you can leave a comment or hit the like button if you enjoyed the show, because those likes and comments help us to reach more people. That's really important. And then also, as Clay discussed towards the end, I really believe that now is one of the most important times to be prepared, because I don't think that we're entering into some sort of golden age where all of a sudden you wake up and it's 1950s America again, with booming factories and the morals are back, and everyone's got their victory gardens. I don't think that that's the age that we're entering into. I hope that at some point our country can go back to somewhat of a golden age, but a true golden age. If you look at the people that are leading us into a golden age, specifically Elon Musk, I don't see how this country can get back to a golden age if this country isn't firmly rooted in a faith and a belief in God. In my opinion, that's the only path towards a golden age, is through God. There's no other way to get to a golden age. I think every other potential golden age is a massive deception if that golden age isn't first led into a path that puts God at the center of this country. So I do think it's important to be prepared. Clay mentioned this. There's a lot of different ways to be prepared. I've actually got a book coming out, funny enough, which maybe you know about if you've been watching the show. It's called Prep Like Noah. So it's not out yet, but I'll make sure that I keep you up to date on that. If you want to stay up to date on what's happening or when the book's coming out, the best thing you can do is go to maninamerica.com and sign up for the email list there. It's really important. We'll make sure you're following me on social media. But again, I think preparedness is really, really important. Now, there's a few key areas. I'm not going to focus on all of them, but one is make sure you've got food supply. Honestly, make sure you do your calculations. There's calorie calculators and everything you can use. I would recommend having at least 1 to 2 months worth of food for every person in your family. And I'm talking storable food that's not going to go bad in a year. Doesn't count if you've got a lot of food in your fridge or your freezer, right? If there's a power disruption or whatever, I'm talking about properly stored food that has a long shelf life. There's a lot of companies that can do this. I've vetted a lot of these companies. I'm a big prepper myself. I'll pull up the company that I have been the most excited about, which is Heaven's Harvest. These guys are fantastic, strong Christian patriots that run and own the company. It's a small company out of Georgia. Heavensharvest.com. Great place to get your storable food. They've got freeze-dried food. They got food buckets. You can get organic food buckets. It's very high-quality food. There's a lot of these food bucket companies out there that are focused on maximizing calories. They're saying, look, you get the most calories per dollar with us. But what they're doing is that they're filling these buckets with cheap calories. And if you're in a survival situation, you don't want a bucket that's full of cheap calories, like Kool-Aid and pudding mix. You want something that has rice and beans and proteins, etc. So heavensharvest.com is where you do that. The promo code Seth, S-E-T-H, I think will save you 15% off your entire order. They also have water purification, water storage, seeds for gardening. It's great. The other thing, big recommendation, if you have a lot of your money sitting in the market, sitting in IRAs, 401ks, I highly recommend having at least some of your wealth stored in precious metals. I'm not saying go empty your IRA or go empty your stock account, put everything in the gold and silver. I do believe in diversification is important. However, what I like about silver, and this is a 10-ounce bar, is you can hold it, you can keep it in your hand, it remains hidden, it's not on some blockchain, it's not tracked on some numbers on a computer, it's an off-grid asset, which is why I think it's extremely important to have at least some portion of this. And I can tell you, for people that are overwhelmed by the idea of like, I can't afford that. I saw someone posting recently, I think that if you have 20 ounces of silver, that you're already in the top 2% of precious metals owning families in America with just 20 ounces of silver, right? This is a 10-ounce bar. So 20 ounces of silver right these days is maybe what, $600-700 at $30 an ounce, $31 an ounce. So again, is that right? Yeah, 20 times 30, yeah, roughly that. I recommend having at least some of your wealth sitting in gold and silver. If you've got a lot of money sitting in the stock market, look, we saw in the past couple of days how easily the stock markets can lose 10%, gain 10%. For me, I don't have any money in the markets for a lot of reasons. One is that if you follow the work of David Webb, who wrote The Great Taking, when your money's sitting in the stock market, it's actually not yours. If there's a collapse of any kind, these banks will take every asset that you have left with them. They'll take the money sitting in the banks. They'll take your stock accounts. They'll take the legal groundwork is already laid for this. If you're not familiar with that, just look up The Great Taking and you'll learn all about it, or watch. I did an interview previously with David Webb on this. Okay, that's one thing, is I don't trust anything that's sitting outside of my own hands. The other thing is that our entire global financial system is a massive, multiple $100 trillion debt bubble. And this bubble is nearing its end. And when that whole thing comes down, trust me, you want to be having some of this. You want to be holding some sort of precious metal. Now, of course, if you have no food for your family, buy your food first, right? Make sure you're protected, make sure you're geared up in that way. But if you have those extra assets, especially if you have money sitting in an IRA account or a 401k account, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. There's no guarantees here. All I can do is tell you what I do and tell you what I recommend my family do. Even my mom's like, Mom, you got to make sure you take some of your 401k. Please put it into precious metals. And she has, right? And actually, she did that. Gosh, I think when silver is at $20, she moved a bunch of her money over into silver at $20. It's now at, $32, $31, $33 an ounce. Okay. So if you need a company that you can trust, because there's a lot of companies that you can't trust, I've vetted gold companies very, very heavily, turned down a lot of companies that wanted to work with me. So I work with Noble Gold. I know the owner, Colin Plume. He's a good friend of mine. I trust him. His prices are fair. They're not cheap. If someone's selling you gold and silver cheap, it's probably fake or stolen, and there's all kinds of problems with it. Look for someone that you can trust. Noble Gold is the company that I trust. The website to get to their information is goldwithseth.com. Now, you can call them at 626-654-1906 or fill out the form on the website. They also specialize, they're probably the best company. This is one of the reasons why I chose to work with them. One of the best companies in dealing with IRAs and 401ks. So if you want to transfer without getting pinged with taxes and penalties, this is the company I'd recommend. That's goldwithseth.com. Okay, so again, Heaven's Harvest, goldwithseth.com, two companies I recommend. I'm going to have a lot more material coming out soon on preparedness. We've got a lot working, not just the book, but other websites. I'm excited about that. But in the meantime, thank you for watching the show. Again, if you enjoyed the show, or if you learned something from the show, or you felt like this information was important, I highly recommend that you share this with your friends and family. It's very important to get this information out, because I don't want us to be caught blindsided. And that's what I'm worried about, is there's a lot of people that are blinded right now. Even people that have found and awakened and part of the Great Awakening and see through the agendas are now being blinded by something else. And hopefully this interview can help pull back those blinders just a little bit. All right, thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care, and God bless. Numbers don't lie. The impact that Balance of Nature makes every single day is astounding. You can see the numbers for yourself at their website, balanceofnature.com. So listen to these stats concerning Balance of Nature's worldwide success. More than 1,000 success stories are reported each month. Hundreds of thousands of customers worldwide, millions of orders delivered each year, and billions, yes, billions of fruits and veggie supplements consumed by people who've decided to start living better. There's only one number missing. That's you. Do what I did and add yourself to these numbers. Start taking Balance of Nature's whole food supplements, like so many others around the world. Here's another number that should get your attention, 35%. Use my discount code SETH to get 35% off plus free shipping, and their money-back guarantee. You must use my discount code SETH. So call them at 800-2468-751 and use the discount code SETH, or order online at balanceofnature.com. Use discount code SETH to get 35% off plus free shipping.